Good evening and welcome to the March 12, 2019 meeting of the Acton School Committee. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good brothers.
All right, any adjustments to the agenda?
There is one. We will not need to do number 10 executive session this evening. We will go from this regular school committee meeting right into our budget review by the Warrant Finance Committee right here in this room.
Okay. I'll look for, are there any comments from the public? All right, hearing none, we'll go into number 3, consent agenda, and I'll look for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor? So moved. Do any of you have any questions for, we're gonna take yours first, I guess.
I just, for announcements and upcoming events, I only really have one, because we have quite a bit to cover tonight, and that's just the upcoming talent show on on March 30th. That's a Saturday night. If you can come, that'd be great to support the PTG. It's their annual big fundraiser, and if you know anybody who has talent, or you have talent, you want to come and show what you can do, that'd be great. We're still taking acts.
Have you signed up?
I'm going to help Terry Minahan at some level. I was, just for transparency, I volunteered for the dance group, which is the faculty, and I was asked to leave. So, there's not much more to it other than that. Lori's going to represent administration in that dance group, and she was asked to stay. So that's just telling about some of our skills.
Nice.
We'll leave it right there at the door.
Okay, do any of you have any questions for any of the administrators? People on the administrative team from their reports in your packet? We good?
I did have one, like, the NEAT, the National Assessment of Educational Progress. Somebody actually comes here and watches the kids take the test. Does that happen every year, or?
Not every year. Some schools every year.
Yeah.
Even though you're randomly chosen to participate.
Oh, okay.
But you really don't have a choice.
Is it a good thing to participate?
Well, it's interesting because when I talked to the 8th graders about taking it, they said they were the last group here was 4th graders to take it. So it makes you wonder if they're...
Being
Every 4
followed?
years.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, they come right
Yeah.
in with their tablets. They set up the classroom. Everything's secure.
Mike's got him going.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah.
What's interesting is we get the letter, and we've been selected as a school.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how they, it's, we got picked, and it might be every 4 years.
Do they give you the results also?
no.
No,
It's
so you
all
don't have
national.
to. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to?
Jeanette has some.
Oh,
I just want to make mention about Pat Damaris. Congratulations that you've chosen to participate in the Teacher of the Year.
And you have to
also-
accept to do it, or how does that work?
I had to accept the nomination and then do several essays, put my resume on the computer because it wasn't, because it's been a long time. And now we're just waiting. There are 16 candidates in the pool, so
nice.
And when do you know?
I don't know.
Oh.
They
Oh.
said they would be in touch.
She advances, we'll know there'll be a site visit, and then there's a York County level, and then from the York County level and the county level, there's then the state finalist, and it's quite a process, but congratulations to Patty, who was nominated by a
Yes.
parent, which was awesome.
And we also have Cammie Davis.
Yes, Cammie Middle School Art Teacher of the Year. She'll be
Nice.
receiving an award on the 6th up in Belfast,
Nice.
which is Saturday.
Very nice. Tammy.
Always good to celebrate our teachers.
That's right.
Thank you for finding that in the minutes.
You have to put a display together as well. Do you have
I don't
to
know
do any
what-
visuals?
I don't know what the second step is and what that entails yet. It just depends on whether or not, right now, the first step was just doing the essays and reflections and things. And then, from what I'm hearing from Tracy, the next step is where the visuals come in. and
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
they've changed the process a little bit.
Best of luck.
Good.
All right,
Okay.
awesome. Do we want to skip now to
What's next?
number 5, or it is next?
It is,
anyway?
I think we're good to go with number
We're good to
5.
go.
Jeremy, can you hear me? It's John.
I can, John.
Yep, we're gonna adjust your volume. Why don't you, we're on here?
Yeah,
Mike's gonna
fine.
get up for just a second, or Jen. We know what you do.
Hum a few bars.
down a
and
couple
we'll-
notches.
Jeremy, just say hello to me so I can hear you.
Hello, John.
Okay, very good. That's a good, I can see Jeremy on the monitor, and some of you can probably see him behind me, so I'll look at the monitor. This is Jeremy Ray, who's the Executive Director of the Southern Maine Administrative Collaborative, also the Superintendent of Dayton and Biddeford School Department. And he submitted a response to our proposal for bus transportation. I've shared with the board the numbers. You have with you a hard copy of the packet of their response to our request. And I asked Jeremy, who's got 2 meetings tonight, if he could join us, and the best he could do, which I think is wonderful, is by Skype, because he needs to be in a meeting at 6 o'clock back in Biddeford. So I'm going to turn it over to the chair and the board with any questions you might have, as I've shared what I needed with you. He represents our preferred company. It's a new kind of concept, so you may have some questions in regards to what a collaborative is. And then later, after we talk with Jeremy and get any questions out of the way, under new business, we'll actually have a vote a little later on the bus contract. And then after that, I'm going to explain a little bit what it would mean if we join the collaborative, but they're 2 separate items. Okay, so I'll turn it over to Judy with that one.
So you're all set to pick up with all the things that we have with high school and elementary, and making sure that the high school gets transported separately in the afternoon? You're up on all that?
Yes. So I get a little bit of that in my ear, so this is a little bit weird talk. But my name is Jeremy Ray, and as John said, I'm the superintendent of the schools for the Biddeford and Dayton School Department, and also the executive director of the Southern Maine Regional Collaborative. The collaborative is a new organization that we put together last year as part of the regional service centers model. For the last 5 years, we have shared all central office, including transportation services, with the Dayton School Department. And we service their superintendent's office, but we operate as 2 separate school units. When this bid came out, we thought this might be an opportunity where school department in the York County area could work together in an effort to meet a need that you guys have while providing service on our end. Certainly, as a large school department in Southern Maine, in Biddeford, we run approximately 30 plus buses a day, and the Dayton School Department, we run 3 buses per day and transport to several sending communities, because the students in Dayton have choice grades 6 through 12, and they don't all go to one location, much like you guys have 9 through 12, where they go to Sanford. So we're very confident in our ability to run transportation, as we've been doing it for probably about 50 plus years here in Biddeford. My opportunity tonight was that I felt like it was important to get in front of you and allow you guys to ask me any questions that you may have, and then preferably come out and meet you guys in actually an upcoming face-to-face meeting.
And you have the buses outfitted for pre-K?
Yeah, if you approve this, there would be 5 brand new school buses purchased for the Acton, to serve the Acton community. Those would be 5 72-passenger buses. One bus would have 8 rows with the ability to carry 32 pre-K kids on that bus, so that if you wanted to do one field trip all together, that bus would also have be outfitted with a handicap lift. There would be 4 other buses, one of those with a handicap lift, and each bus having 6 to 8 pre-K seats on that, because certainly kids are going to live in different locations and they'll all need to be spread around. We do have, in looking through the bid packet, we do have one safety concern that we have based off the specs that you've put in your packet that we would like to address upon approval. Really looking at the standard for school buses that are the newer models. In your bid proposal, you have 1 safety hatch on the roof, and we would really propose 2 safety hatches on the roof. In addition, the window types that you requested for emergency windows in the packet are a little bit outdated. And we feel that having 2 on each side of the bus with the new side swing windows would be safer than the upward pulls that you have in a situation. So we would like to discuss those issues at some point if successful, to make sure that the buses that are there are what we would see as a safer alternative.
And those changes, would those changes change your proposal at all?
No, not at all.
I see,
We just want to make sure that we buy what we think is going to be best for students in that community.
I see there's a whole list of drivers here. Where are any of them spare going to be able to drive here? You have to have new employees?
Well, that will certainly, employees have their choice based on where they live. That's a roster of our current employees. Upon a successful approval by you guys of this bus contract, we would immediately begin to look at the hiring process in conjunction with Mr. Ross and his approval for, I believe in the contract, the superintendent will have the final say on approved staff. So we'd be starting that process immediately. There may be some bus drivers who live closer to that area that may choose, and that would be a conversation between John and I.
And one issue that we've run into several times is drop chains, and I assume that there will be drop chains on all these buses in the winter?
Yes, we'll install drop chains during these buses. If this approval goes tonight, I actually order these buses tomorrow morning, and drop chains will be installed on those buses.
Anybody else have any other questions, Corin?
Was it in the contract to have a bus here on site at all times?
Yeah, the question's about a spare bus to have on site due to any kind of emergencies or any kind of a breakdown associated, Jeremy. I know the answer to that, but why don't you answer it as the vendor?
Yes, there'll be a bus on site at all times for school use, whether that be emergency or additional things that John and the community would like to do. So there will be 6 buses allocated, 5 of them being brand new. We were not going to purchase 6 brand new bus to possibly sit with limited mileage on it.
And the sanding and the plowing, where the buses are being parked?
I can answer
We'll
that
be
one,
doing that.
Jeremy. The question was about the sanding and the plowing with where the buses are being parked. What we did, not knowing which way this decision on the busing would go, right now, the sanding and the plowing is a liability of our current bus company. Not knowing which way we go, I put in approximately $1,500 for that to occur in Andy's maintenance and improvement budget for next year. Shall we need to pick that up? That was not one of the specs we put in the RFP. We do not expect anybody who bids to have to sand and plow that. It wasn't part of the contract, nor was he prepared to answer that, so we took care of it at our end.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
Great questions.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and we look forward to the possibility of working with you guys for the next coming years. We believe that, we feel strongly that schools can partner with other schools here in the greater York region and across the state to deliver some of these services, as we're all in the business of serving children and serving communities, and hope to be able to work with the Acton School Department. And I look forward to, I look forward to hopefully talking with John a whole lot more than I do right now.
Very good. Okay, is it cool?
All right.
We good to go, right?
And if successful, I would be happy to come out
Yes.
and get a chance to meet you face to face. This was just the best that I could do in a week's notice with several meetings here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
very much.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you very-
We got further
Have a
business.
great evening.
Okay, I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, take care.
You
Bye.
bet. Thanks, guys. That seemed to work out okay. So we're gonna actually address bus transportation and new business, number 81. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to progress monitoring reports.
That's you.
Oh, me?
Yes, I'm sorry. It says NWE. It says NWE.
Gender in front of me.
That was precious. I love your response
I don't have
to me.
your gender in front of me.
Okay, sorry.
We just jumped from one thing to the
We did, we just shifted, yeah.
NWEA results. Here
Thank
we go.
you. If you would
She's
said
still
that, I
picturing
would've
5 brand new
known.
shiny buses dancing in her head. Yes.
I might try and drive one, just kidding.
John will take you up on that, I'm sure.
For the notes.
These, John asked me to just follow up. We just finished the NWEA winter window right before February break. So in looking at all of the results, I just did a couple of summary pages, one for math and one for literacy. And I thought it might be good to look at the fall numbers that we looked at back in October and compare them now to the winter numbers. What you see is the students in red, the numbers of students in red are really the students who we would be most concerned about. They're following below the 20th percentile, whether it's in reading or math. And so we would hope that from fall to winter that those numbers would go down. And in some grade levels they have, and in other grade levels they have not. So we will now take a look at that with the cohorts, and we'll dig down and look at those particular kids and see where they might have dropped. Is it in a certain sub area in math, like is it in geometry because they haven't gotten to geometry yet? Is it still in, number sense? Where is it that there's still some weakness? Same with the middle column, that's the students that are following between the 21st and 50th percentile. We'd like to see those numbers drop. And again, some grade levels have and others have not. And we're hoping that the last column over, we're seeing from the fall to the winter that those numbers are increasing. And again, some grade levels, yes, and others not. So it will be time spent now to dig into that data before we look at the spring results. And then we're also getting ready for MEA, so we want to make sure that we're addressing those areas of weakness so that we don't see the same thing on the state assessment. The math numbers are not as strong as the literacy. And of course, we have literacy support with Title I. And we're hoping to change that model a little bit next year to have greater support in the classrooms in the area of literacy. And then we'll have to figure out how can we get more math support in place, or at least maybe some grouping and regrouping of kids more frequently so that we're working on those areas where we're seeing the greatest weakness. But reading scores overall, there is a shift happening, and hopefully we'll continue to see that happen throughout the year. So after the spring results, I'll do this again and I'll share those numbers with you, just so you can see how it's gone over the course of the year with each of the grade levels.
Although our literacy progress is fairly strong and improving, when Lori mentioned school-wide Title I, we're in the process right now looking at Rachel Driscoll's programming, and instead of having kids go to her and Sherry Smith, how would it look for Sherry Smith and her to work into do a push into the classrooms? A lot of schools have done this and seen great results. We're working with the staff and the Title I people on what that might look like. My hope is the benefit of doing this perhaps next year and working with the teachers, we might find some answers to how this might work with math as well. So a year from now, when we look at the budget, Lori might be coming to you or through me with some math resources that might look a little different so that literacy and math are progressing in tandem and not one outpacing the other.
Anybody have any questions for Lori? Thank you very much for putting this together for us. Appreciate it. Let's move on to committee reports. Long Range Planning Committee.
We did meet, and we discussed the reserve accounts, and that'll be coming up. I think we already spoke about it, though.
At the budget meeting we did, but not at
budget
a
meeting.
school committee meeting.
Right. That was our last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, how about policy? Under policy, we've got several policies here to look at.
Yep. And half of them are second reads, so. JFABA, school choice policy, the second read. We had gone over that, that's quite a long one.
Oh,
So,
And that's private school choice. And I added, as we spoke at the last meeting through policy, with Jeanette and Linda, as well as the last school committee meeting, I mentioned I'd add an addendum, which is in your packet.
Yeah.
And the reason being is the window of time that parents would have to make notification on private schools was like January 6th to Valentine's Day, that's past us. So I extended that same amount of weeks, which I think is approximately 6 weeks, out from the end of this week with approval from you on Tuesday, through 6 weeks from now, which I think gets us into late April, early May, so that parents could follow this policy and have an opportunity to look at private schools.
Yeah.
And then next year, that one addendum, that goes away and we stay with the policy dates.
So next year, it'll be the early date
Correct.
again
Yeah.
of
January 6th.
January 6th.
January 6th to February 14th.
Yeah.
Yep.
so that being the second read, you want to do these one at a time? Since there's
No,
several,
let's-
you want to wait?
let's do-
them all at once? or
yeah,
what?
let's
Okay.
do, we've got 3 here for second read.
Yep.
So I'll look for a motion to accept as a second reading JFABA,
And the R,
JFABAR,
that's the application.
and EBCE, school closings and cancellations.
Yep,
You want to make that a motion, Jeanette?
yeah, we can make that a motion
Second.
to, oh, good.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept those 3 policies to be adopted as
written.
second reading, as to be adopted, right. Any further discussion? All those in favor of those 3? Okay. And then we have 3 policies, 2 on homeschooling and 1 on compulsory attendance that are in our packets for a first read.
Now, you're saying we didn't have anything on homeschooling? Because it just says adopted, but isn't this an update? Didn't we have something for all our homeschoolers?
Was that the one you didn't have anything about homeschooling in, but we did, but it wasn't anywhere?
Right. So you didn't have it?
So she didn't have it.
So it's a new policy?
Remember?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we had something.
We must have
about it, but it wasn't-
something for
I
our
know,
It was never-
homeschoolers.
it never was recorded
It was never, it
anywhere.
was kind of dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
It was, remember, we kind
Forgot
of,
for a minute there.
just something happened.
Yeah.
Seats changed and it never got moved to the committee, I think. Yeah.
Basically, what you're seeing is all the ones that that MSMA says are required.
Right.
And I'm making sure I got these all covered. And these were ones that just aren't on our website, weren't showing up. And I'm like,
But she never, right.
Clean it up.
Was it in your book?
Yeah, was in my
Yeah, she
book.
brought it to the policy meeting.
yeah. I had no adoption date on it.
Yeah, the date.
Ah, well, we may have and just never.
Did you bring that
It
book
just
in
never got
a
recorded.
shopping cart, or did you
I know.
haul it in a wagon, or what?
We got a forklift this time.
Paper works. Paperless society, if you notice.
Sorting it out, yeah.
All right, then, let's, I'll look for a
paperwork.
motion to accept IHBG homeschooling, IGBGA homeschooling participation in school programs, and JEA compulsory attendance. I'll look to have those accepted
So
as a
moved.
first read.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? So moved. All right, let's move on to new business.
Well, hold on a minute. We've got school attorney legal services in here
I
also.
know, I know,
BDG.
that's in here, right here.
It's in here, but it's not on
Not on the
the,
agenda.
BDG.
Yeah, and it
But
should-
didn't we look at that last time?
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
That's an old
so we
one.
don't need it at all this time? We don't need to do anything with it? Or is it a
Or
second
is it a
read?
second reading?
No, wait a minute, let me look.
That was, you know what, that was the second read.
It just,
wasn't
it's the
included
other
in the-
side, it just got on there.
It wasn't
mistake.
included in the motion for second reads though, a moment ago.
Well, you wanna make a
Okay.
motion?
And
We'll
we'll
take it
make,
as an individual.
yeah, let's look for a motion to accept. Where's the
Yeah,
number?
the first read was in
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I haven't got them in the right order.
So
here.
it's BDG, School Attorney Legal Services.
Okay. Look to accept that policy also
So
as
moved.
the second reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Thanks, Kim, for helping us keep up to date on these policies, which come in by the bushel, it seems like. All right, let's move on then to number 8. And 8.1 is the bus contract. And I will turn it over to Mr. Ron.
Well, you had questions and answers with the new bus company. I feel pretty comfortable moving forward with a new model. You had an opportunity to get a feel for what they do. There'll be work ahead of us, but there would be work ahead of us no matter what with transportation. I think it's exciting that we have an opportunity to come in at a lower cost and get newer buses. I think that alone is, it's attractive. You know, you gotta balance out new company, you know, with what you know versus what you don't know, what's being promised versus what you get. And, I think it's, you know, it's worth a shot to take a look at this. Now, remember, this first, number 8.1 is to vote on a contract that I put in front of you so that I can move and authorize and get going. Because he's literally really gonna order 5 buses tomorrow based on the vote tonight.
Yeah.
Because it takes 6 to 8 months to get buses. So he's gonna move on that if the school committee's wishes to go with this bus company. Like I said, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the unknowns to work through what those are. In the last couple of years, I've filled in the gaps on some of the issues that we've had anyway and have been operating some of the troubleshooting from the school. I think I'll have less of that, but if I don't and I'm still troubleshooting, I'm troubleshooting from a school and working with a school. It's just a different relationship, really. And then we'll get into what that second one is about joining the cohort. This is completely separate of that. This is about who do you want to do business with?
Yeah.
And it requires a vote because it's a 3-year contract.
So now they're gonna buy 5 new buses, or order 5 new.
Yep.
Where does this money come from?
That's on them.
That's on
That's
them.
on them.
We're just contracting with
We
them.
I know,
contract
so
with them,
there's-
but they,
They just happen to be new.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And they're
'Cause they have a
offering
road-
safer buses.
and they have a rotation
I know, I
fleet.
understand that, but I mean, it's on them, they're gonna purchase 5
Correct.
new buses.
They're gonna order
for this
them.
contract.
And what it is, it's not 5 new buses that they get and then they give us 5 Biddeford buses with new names on it.
No,
I
we're-
did my homework on that. I want to make sure it wasn't you got
We're getting
buses.
new buses.
We're getting the buses we asked for,
We're
right?
gonna
It's all
get-
pretty clear in
Right.
writing what we're getting.
We're gonna get the buses.
Right.
His
so-
question to you was a
If-
contract issue on safety, our RFP, which is the same RFP that went out
Right.
3 years ago, is antiquated in the fact that buses are a little safer, so he can go with those buses, but they're making them differently today. That's what he was getting at.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a technicality, but it's in the contract, and
Yeah.
you're bidding for something, you need to change it. I need authorization to work with him to make that change, because the buses he's gonna get are a little safer and a little more modern. So I assume you're okay with that, because it didn't go anywhere beyond that conversation with him. But the-
Future
So-
bids, we can up our wants now that we,
Yeah,
So
Now
with
that we
this contract is for a 3-year contract.
Yes.
correct. With the cancellation policy of 30 days written notice on either party, with a performance bond built in, so we're not stuck if something happens. All the same language. Kim and I put a lot of work into discussing how much did we want to change and what did we want to do, and there was a lot of research put into the first bus code. It's like 20 pages long
Yeah,
about
it's
what's
very
in there.
long. I couldn't
So-
believe it when I hit print. I was like, wow.
So I actually sat with Kim and I said, do I really need to request registration information once a year as the superintendent of schools? I see that as on them. Give me registered buses. We're done. She said, you know what, why don't you just leave it the way it is and learn this over the next 3 years and take things out? But there's a reason why it's in there. We don't know why it's in
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
let's not take it out.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a need why the superintendent needs to see registrations. I haven't found one yet, but maybe there is. So it's in the contract that I'll get information on registrations of 5 buses
be
or 6
good.
buses
Yeah.
once a year.
Might be
you
good
know?
to have a copy.
Right. But when you read through it and you ask yourself, why is that there? Some of it is Department of Transportation
Yes.
law. You
A
can't
lot
take
of
it
it
out.
is.
Right,
Right.
right.
So it's a pretty long, but what we're getting is we're getting 5 new buses with drop chains. Gonna have to hire 5 bus drivers and a kind of a quasi manager of the bus drivers that may work out of this building. or he or
That's
she.
in the quote.
That's all in there, and it came in, you did the numbers, you can see the
Right,
difference.
so-
It was the low bid, yeah,
So we're gonna pay less to have new stuff. That's always a good thing.
that's the plan.
Well,
did you
that's-
say that
that's-
they
that's
might
the
have
plan.
a bus manager working out of this building?
Right, who also drives a bus. So one of the
Okay.
plans is, because like a dispatch in Biddeford doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
And we got our own radio now, so we're kind of dispatching from here as far as, is
Troubleshooting, yeah,
is Judy
troubleshooting.
Shane on the bus, we're just kind of making sure, because Mom said she wasn't
Right.
at the stop, those kinds of things. We're coordinating all the troubleshooting from here anyway. The person would drive a bus, but would also do the scheduling of the buses. When is the high school bus supposed to drop? That would be like our asset, a person in our building that works for the other company. And I see this as a little bit like Sweetser. Sweetser has an office and a phone, but she's not our employee. She's in our building. So I'm thinking if this goes through, I'll find some shared space so somebody can be here during the day working for that bus company, but based out of
Well,
this
Jeanette
building.
said there was someone from Ledgmere at one point.
There's a dedicated
Yeah,
person, but they're in Sanford.
Dedicated person.
Oh, yeah, I've got, and no qualms
No,
there
you
at
said
all.
here, right?
Well, he's got a dedicated kind of space if she wanted to stay here, right? I mean, but she doesn't have to be here in the building.
The current contractor that we're working with right now, there hasn't been a conversation for them to have anybody in the building. It never came up because they're right in Sanford.
Right, they're right.
Right.
They're right in Sanford, down by Walmart. But so the question is, how does, a place that's in Biddeford and Dayton, communicate with their buses with a repeater, the radios? That's a little tough. So just like when it was first student years ago, we're going to use the school as the base, the hub, the bus routes and all that. So Amanda will be working directly with somebody who's in and out of this building. Not my employee, so to speak, so I don't have dibs on his or her time. You can't do that when they're a contractor. But it would be somebody who answers to the contract. That would be my first line. And then if there's any issues, we ratchet it up to the executive director to try to solve the problems. No different than now. When we have bus issues, the call comes into Amanda, she tries to resolve it. If they don't like the answer, it's not resolved, it gets landed on my lap. I usually can either fix it if it's something that I know happens and we can do it right here at Acton, or I contact our bus company and I say, it sounds like a driver, student, parent miscommunication, let's fix it. And we've done a pretty nice job at working together to communicate whatever those issues might be. In this case, it would be the same thing. All of our issues around when the bus drops and when they come, are they driving too fast, are they driving too slow, are they on the right side of the road, it's snowing, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? All that stuff still comes in to me, as it does now anyway.
Right.
I'll just be working with somebody different on resolving them.
How far away is Biddeford and Dayton anyway? How far away?
20 miles.
Yeah.
20 miles,
20-ish.
is it?
20.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't go that way.
Dayton's a
so I
little
don't know.
Is Dayton a little closer?
That's where the buses will come out of.
They're gonna come out of there, but they're gonna stay
Yeah,
here.
they're staying here, so.
Yeah, unless we get an
They'll
Acton-based
be-
driver who takes it home. They're gonna be in our lot.
They'll be parked overnight here.
With Acton, just like they
Okay.
are now. Acton School Department parked here.
Yep.
And if we have, a local bus driver has a need to take it home for some reason, we can talk about that. But right now, they stay here with a 6th bus that stays here
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And that 6 bus could be used if there was a maintenance rotation.
Right.
We need to rotate the tires, change the oil, take it off for a day, put the 6 bus in for a day, and use that as a rotational bus, which makes all the sense, so.
And they're gonna say Acton
Yep.
School on the side.
And I see they have Brian Hartford from Hartford Equipment in Sanford who does their,
They
and I
need-
love that guy.
Do you? I don't know, good.
Yeah, he's a
'cause
very good guy.
They contacted him because they have a full facility, because they own their own buses, and they have a full-time bus mechanic, and they take care of things. They needed something closer to here
Yeah.
that they can pay Brian to
Yeah,
take care of
he's
our
good.
buses. Good,
Nice.
glad to hear
Good
that.
idea, yeah.
Yeah, and the pre-K seats are kind of new. It's a new concept where the seats are built into
Yeah.
the sleeve of the backrest,
Yeah.
and it's just a pull down, like it is in the back seat of your car for an armrest. And it pulls down, it turns into a pre-K seat, and it goes up, and it's not a pre-K seat. And the straps are built within, so you don't even see it when it's not out.
That's good.
Nice.
It's a newer design.
Well, I'd
Getting
like,
modern for less money. I like it.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the student transportation services of this, what is it called? Oh, here, Southern Maine Administrative Collaborative, the 3-year contract.
And somebody want to second?
Oh, second it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Well, I have to trust the people, Mr. Ross and Kim, that this was thoroughly investigated, I'm sure. I am sure.
Yep. All right.
Did somebody second it? Did
Yeah,
somebody?
yeah, Linda did. We ready to vote? All those in favor? The bus ball is in your court.
Thank you, committee. I will take care of that. The second one, I just want to give you a little bit of information on, which is 8.2. Going with the Southern Maine Administrative Collaborative is a way to call it purchase a service. That's the term the state uses, purchasing services. And if you remember about a year ago, when this whole idea of purchasing services from each other and doing regional co-ops, I recommended we could all sit on the bench for the first year, because there was really nothing in it for Acton. There wasn't any kind of a windfall for us. The state subsidy that we did get, it didn't look like there was gonna be an increase to cost money to get in, it just didn't make sense. So, separate of working with them, well, now we have one service, transportation. So what I'm recommending is a vote to join the collaborative. It doesn't cost us anything, that's changed, so there's no cost to be part of the co-op. And we've already got a few ideas. I don't want to get into the weeds with those ideas now about sharing a second service that we're already probably doing, and we might be able to save some money. So there's other services schools can share where we can save some money, and it'll be what I'll call a lower stakes service than putting our kids in buses and driving them around town. It'll be something a little simpler than that. That would give us 2 services. And the way Maine state law works is if we're in the collaborative and we have 2 services, we're potentially eligible, I'm gonna use my words carefully, potentially eligible for more state subsidy because we joined and it's based on a per pupil basis. Don't wanna throw any numbers around, don't know what that means, but if we join the collaborative and we pick up a second service and do something shared, and you know what shared looks like, we do a lot of it already,
Yep.
then we could be eligible for a certain amount of set-aside state subsidy because we did join based on a per pupil basis. If we don't join, we just have purchased a service and good for us, and it's gonna be a great experience, and our kids get to and from school safely and on time. We did that. But if we take the second step to join the collaborative, we may actually benefit with more state subsidy. I'll know a lot more later in the budget cycle with the state, but that's part of the incentive to join. The first time we did this, that incentive wasn't there. The second time now, they've made arrangements at Augusta to release more funding to schools that are involved in collaboratives.
So now, but can you get out easily?
Yes, that was the other question I had is, so if you get in, how do you get out? It's in our contract, so it's a 30-day notice if we need to get out. Kim and I batted that back and forth too. I said, if we vote to get in, do we need to vote to get out? We read it, we're like, no, we don't.
You're talking about the bus, though.
No, well, yes,
talking
but it's
about-
contingent upon our
No,
service contracts too. We need 2
Right.
services, right?
Right, so
Okay, so.
the words
in other
join
words,
here.
A second service would have the same wording, a 30-day in or out.
You
Correct.
might get money.
Okay.
Correct. Just say this is an example. Andy well, no idea where this is coming from, I'm gonna make something up. Say we purchased cleaning chemicals somehow together, okay? The dispensers in the bathroom.
No, what about the computers we're talking about?
Computers
We don't
with
know
my-
how that's gonna work
The ones that
out.
keep getting thrown against the walls by the students that Mike eloquently described last
might
week.
be a
Those computers when they're broken,
service.
right. There might be something, but that's what I'm talking about, something we need to do anyway, but can we do it at a lower cost for them? Because we need two services to look at any kind of a state subsidy kickback.
Right, but if Biddeford is like purchasing computers
Yeah.
or iPads or something, then.
That might be another way of looking at
We
it,
can-
that kind of thinking. We don't have to do that right away. I think
Yeah.
we talked about it till like August, the state subsidy formula and everything. We checked with the state. We said, we want to make sure this isn't smoke and mirrors. So I had Kim call and talk with her person who's very good at the state with answers. And said, yes, indeed, this is true, and this is kind of how it works. And given a good budget year in Augusta, you could expect something, but there's no promises on how much.
So the collaborative right now is just Biddeford and Dayton?
It's just Biddeford and Dayton.
Biddeford is huge, though.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah.
I know.
I actually wrote a motion if somebody wanted to take it, because I wanted to keep it super clean. And it's just make a motion for the Acton School Department to join the Southern Maine Administrative Collaborative.
So moved.
I can't make the motion. I'm
No,
super.
Mary moved.
No,
you said
Mary
it.
just moved.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
have that paper?
So
that
can I, so I just made the motion for you? That's
No,
all?
Mary made the
No, I
motion.
made the
You read the
motion. You
motion.
read
Thank
it.
you.
Got it. I read it, you said
Now I
it.
need somebody to second it.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Jeanette.
Knowing we can get out.
No one we can get, right. All those in favor? 5-0.
Okay. The next article's on you, and Kim, do we have the articles?
Oh, they each have
This-
one.
Okay, yeah, this is your process of adoption of the budget.
Gotta find it. File of stuff.
I can get your draft copy if you want one.
Oh, it's here. It's in the pile.
It's there.
I looked at it.
It's on, part of it's on the back of this.
Okay. That's what starts with them, huh? I got it.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my budget book for the next meeting. This action doesn't require me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna run up to my office and get my budget book so we can go right into that
Yeah,
meeting.
take this.
Okay.
This is, not double-sided. Take that.
She printed it all, wow,
It's just easier.
whole paper.
Either way,
Easier to read.
the same.
We're gonna
Okay,
read, you want each one of us take a turn to read these, or are you gonna read them all, or what? What do we do? We're gonna-
I'll just whip through them if that's okay
Okay,
with
whip-
everybody. and-
Go ahead, just
Yeah.
whip through them.
Yeah.
Because everything that's in here is stuff that we've already gone over in our budget process. All the figures that are in here, we've already predetermined were the right figures for us. And I think it's awesome that the administration has worked up for us to present a budget to us that is less than 1% increase for the coming year, so. So I'll just read through these articles and look for motions to approve and be seconded, and then we'll move on to the next one, okay? Starting with Article number 2, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school department to expend for regular instruction. School department recommends to expend $2,729,763 for regular instruction.
Now, since you already said it, it's already there. Like, school committee
All right.
recommends should.
I'll just read the question. What sum will the town authorize the school committee to expend for regular instruction?
I'll make a motion to expend $2,729,763 for regular instruction.
I'll second that.
Okay, Mary and Jeanette, all in favor? Article number 3, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for special education.
I'll recommend to expend $1,019,071 for special education.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Article number 4, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school department to expend for career and technical education.
I'll make a motion to expend $0 for career and technical education with a side note that that's for the high school level.
Right. but it is an article that's required to be in our warrant, so we put it in there even though we don't do any. It's been moved and seconded. We recommend $0 for career and technical education. All in favor? Article number 5, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for other instruction.
I'll make a motion to expend $53,233 for other instruction.
Second it.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? So moved. Article number 6, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for student and staff support.
I'll make a motion to expend $560,263 for student and staff support.
Second it.
Okay? All in favor? Article 7, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for system administration.
I'll make a motion to expend $209,078 for system administration.
I'll second it.
Second it.
Okay, it's been recommended we expend $209,078 for system administration. All those in favor? Article 8, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for school administration.
I'll make a motion to expend $137,387 for school administration.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to expend $137,387 for school administration. All in favor? Article 9, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for student transportation.
I'll make a motion to expend $287,500 for student transportation.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to authorize the expenditure of $287,500 for student transportation. All those in favor? Article number 10, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for facilities maintenance.
I'll make a motion to expend $466,072 for facilities maintenance.
Second it.
It's been moved to authorize the expenditure of $466,072 for facilities maintenance. All those in favor? Article number 11, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for debt service and other commitments.
I'll make a motion to expend $0 for debt service.
I'll second it.
All those in favor of spending $0 for debt service? So moved. Article number 12, to see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for all other expenditures, including nutrition.
I'll make a motion to expend $145,186 for all other expenditures, including nutrition.
Second it.
Been moved and seconded that we recommend to expend $145,186 for all other expenditures, including nutrition. All those in favor? Article 13 and 14 are the articles which raise funds for the school budget. And I'll read it for the purpose of people that are listening. To see what sum the municipality will appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essentials Programs and Services Funding Act, $3,654,359, and to see what sum the municipality will raise as a municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, $3,383,600 in accordance with the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15688. School committee, oh, go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to appropriate $3,654,359 for the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, and to raise $3,383,600 as the municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12. The total combined state and local is $3,654,359, less state subsidy of $270,759. So the amount required by the state from the town, by state from town, $3,383,600.
Okay, that's a motion. Would somebody second that?
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve a total of $3,654,359 total, less state subsidy, $3,383,600. All those in favor? Article 14. Article 14 will require a written ballot. And this is to see what sum the municipality will raise and appropriate in additional local funds that exceeds the state essential programs and services allocated as required to fund the budget. And the school committee is recommending.
I'll make a motion to raise and appropriate $1,576,400 additional local funds, and gives the following reasons for exceeding the state's essential programs and services allocation model by $1,576,400. Okay. Essential programs and services allocation model does not fully support all the cost of pre-K through 12. These funds support programming not included in the essential programs and services model, including items such as transportation, nutrition, and other educational and support programs.
Okay, would somebody like to second that? Okay, seconded by Linda, that we recommend $1,576,400 in additional funds. All those in favor? Article 15 summarizes the proposed school budget. To see what sum the town of Acton will authorize the school committee to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019, ending June 30th, 2020, from the school department's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essentials Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools.
I'll make a motion to expend $5,607,553 for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2019, and ending June 30th, 2020, from the school department's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from grades pre-kindergarten to grade 12.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we expend as a total budget $5,607,553. All those in favor? Article 16. Shall the school committee be authorized to expend such other sums as may be received from federal or state grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year for school purposes, provided that such grants, programs, or other sources do not require the expenditure of other funds not previously appropriated?
I'll make a motion to authorize expenditure of grants and other funds as per Article 16.
Second it.
All those in favor? Article 17, to see if the town of Acton will appropriate the receipts of certain federal and state grants and carry any previous balances for all grant revenue accounts.
I'll make a motion to appropriate receipt of federal and state grant funds as per Article 17.
Second it.
All those in favor? Article 18, to see if the town of Acton will vote to raise the following revenues, balances carried, and fund transfers to fund the food service budget in addition to amounts raised by taxation for food services in the school operating budget.
I'll make a motion to raise revenues to fund the nutrition budget as per Article 18, which is school nutrition revenues of $80,000.
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve $80,000 for school nutritional revenues. All those in favor? Article 19. To see what sum the town of Acton will vote to transfer funds from unexpended funds to the designated capital improvement reserves account to expend funds from to expend funds from that reserve account. This account is used for the purpose of paving the parking lots and sidewalks.
I'll make a motion to, doesn't say anything.
Yeah, it does.
I know, but is it raise or appropriate?
Oh,
What?
No.
I
We're just gonna
recommend the amount of
transfer.
to
20,000.
vote, to
Transfer.
vote, to approve the transfer, that's what it is.
I'll make a motion to vote to transfer funds of 20,000 from undesignated funds to the designated capital
unexpended
improvement.
Unexpended.
Unexpended funds.
Okay. Second it.
All those in favor? So moved. All right. Thank you very much for the budget process. Going very well.
So in a moment, we'll have warrant and finance review the same information. But I have one more thing for the school committee to take up before we do that and adjourn, and that is the snow day policy. I have nothing in writing. I just want to remind you that in the last 2 years, you've given me the authority to move ERD, our early release day, from 1:30 to 2:30 on Wednesdays. We still have professional development for teachers, but that will hold the children here until 2:30 on Wednesdays moving forward, starting probably not tomorrow because it's an extended ERD, but the following week, to then use 1 hour per day towards getting out of school for the 5 snow days we've already used this year. Knocking on wood that we don't have a 6. But whatever our snow day totals are, 1 hour a day will be allocated towards those extra days that we put on the calendar this year due to inclement weather, with a reminder that 5 hours equals 1 school day per state law. If you authorize that tonight, then I've already talked with the Support Staff Association, the Teachers Association. Everybody's in favor of that. I haven't really said anything to the community yet, but with your approval, I'll move forward on that and let people know what our intentions are going to be.
Was this to the end of the year?
This
or-
would be through the end of the year, starting a week from tomorrow. So I'll get right on that with an affirmative vote tonight. Our community, our school community is well aware. I don't think, I haven't said anything to parents because I need your vote first. It was actually embraced the last few years. Yeah, people like the idea.
So I'll look for a motion to approve the school day policy as just stated by John for using the extra hour on early release days. 5 of those will make up 1 school day.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, at this time, we will adjourn our school committee meeting and get ready to go into a meeting with the Warrant and Finance Committee.
So we'll set up some chairs and bring warrant and finance to the table.